Alrighty. So, well, my name is Vidhi. With my business partner, we started Canada Mentors a couple years ago. And at this point, we functioned like a recruitment company, and we have also functioned like a company that mentors people and helps them find the right opportunities. Yeah, and I think we've helped about like more than 1,000 people in our journey so far, helping them work with the companies that they dream working for, right? So, and these are mainly companies that are North American, so companies that are in the US or in Canada. So that's our niche. That's the those are the main countries that we deal with. All the clients that we work with are also, in the North American space, in Canada or in the US. And I also have Louisa with me. Louisa, do you want to
Yes, just presenting myself. Hello, guys. I am tech recruiter at Canada Mentors for 1 year, more or less. Super happy to be glad to be here with you guys, and I think that we prepared some super nice material for you, and I'm sure that we will have a good conversation here. You can be free to ask anything if you want, also. So yeah, just thank you for being here, everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I mean, if during the presentation also, or if you have any question, we are friends here. Don't consider this to be a place where you just have to be on mute, not say a word. Please be yourself. If you have any questions, interrupt me, interrupt Louisa, ask us anything that you want. We will stop, take your question, and answer anything that's relevant to, I would say, the converse, like the topic at that point. And then we will also have time for questions towards the end. So we can definitely do that too. But then if during the presentation, if you have any questions, feel feel free to, you know, add your questions here, or just like go ahead with the question. We'll stop and then take the question first. All righty. So while I did the introduction, the logos that you see are the clients that we have worked with. Again, these are all Canadian, US based tech companies who we helped in the past couple years. Again, right? So today's topic is how do we get more interviews and a better salary? I think that is what attracted most people to the session today. Okay, how do I get more salary, or how do I get interview calls? I'm applying. I have applied for like 100 jobs. I only got one interview. That too was a rejection. Like, why? And then I see all these people, right? I mean, getting, I don't know, like making so much money, getting so much equity. How do I get there? So let's try and answer that question for you. And in order to do that, let's see what the journey looks like. Like from the time that you decide, all right, let me start looking out in the market, to you accepting an offer, like what does that journey look like? The first step is you knowing what you want. There are some people who are, for example, Ruby on Rails experts. They only want to be, stuck with Ruby on Rails because that's their expertise. They only want jobs that give them Ruby on Rails, further exposure. There are people who say, "Oh no, I'm a full stack engineer. I have worked on Node and React. I only want jobs that are Node and React heavy." Now there can be somebody living in Brazil. I don't care whether it's Ruby on Rails. I don't care it's Node. I just want a company that can help me relocate to Canada. So, point being, different people have different requirements. Different people want different things out of life, right? And out of their career. So, knowing what you want is the first step to getting where you should be. Somebody in Canada maybe wants to work remotely for a US company. Somebody in the US wants to work for a larger company. Somebody wants to work for a smaller company. Somebody hates startups. Somebody loves startups. Somebody hates corporate. Like there are different mixture of people. So knowing what you want is the first step. So putting that down, making that list is the first step. Louisa, you want to add anything there?
No, actually, I think that's good. Having this clarifying is super important, because then you can just focus, on whatever you want. And then, okay, I want to work with, like you said, Ruby on Rails. So which companies in Canada or US work with this stack? So you can just look for that, and then you can just look for the positions inside of that company. So it's important to have some focus. Or no, I just want some international company. That's fine. Any job for me is fine. To just get my first international opportunity is fine. So yeah, of course we have to have this flexibility, but nothing to add here.
Exactly, right? So yeah, first step being knowing what you want and keeping a very targeted approach. Because if you keep applying left, right, and center, the chances of you landing your dream role are very, very full. All right, adding another person. Okay. Then step two, right? Once you've sorted what you want you want more interview calls. You want to be applying for these companies, the list that you've made in step one. Once you've got the interview calls, once you're actively, like in the process, you want to crack those interviews. That's step three for cracking interviews, obviously, right? I mean, you need the technical interview practice. You need to know how to crack a system design interview. You need to know how to crack a coding exercise, code pair exercise. Some companies do code reviews. So you need to understand how to crack that interview in that 1 hour. So practice is very important. That is step three. Step four, the interviews went well. You were made an offer. Now you don't know if this is a right offer, wrong offer. You are in the salary negotiation part. Once that is done, of course, you accept the offer, and then you start with this new role, new company. So I see this cycle as the four-step cycle of somebody who's evenly passively looking in the market. Let's see what's next. Topic of today's discussion is getting more interviews, which is why I thought it is more important to focus on this broader topic instead of talking about everything else. So there are only two ways that you can get more interviews. There is an inbound channel and an outbound channel. There is no third way. Inbound, something's coming in. Outbound, something's going out. In the inbound channel, recruiters are reaching out to you, or somebody is telling you that, hey, my friend, my company is also hiring, I know you're looking, let me refer you in my company. That is an inbound channel. So somebody's coming to you, like all the LinkedIn messages that you receive or all the emails that you receive, these are all inbound channels, right? Somebody found you somewhere and they thought you were a good fit and they reached out to you. The
You
other
know,
channel. Huh?
something to add here. I think that people underestimate the importance of having good and strong relationships. I always tell this to my candidates: try to create good connections with people, because this connection can bring you opportunity in the future. So something that is not only in Brazil, but I think in Canada, US, any country that you are, it's super important to create connections with people, every area, not only the technical guys. Like, be friend or be super close to HR, be close to the leaders. It's important, it can gives you some opportunity in the future. So the most the contacts you have, for sure, biggest the chances of getting a new role in the future. So I think this is something important.
Yeah, of course, right? I mean, if you have a good relationship with somebody, or if somebody has seen you working well with them, only then will they refer you. Only then will this inbound come. And the next channel is outbound. Outbound simply means that you are making an effort to do something to find a job, which can be in two ways: that you are reaching out to people, you are reaching out to your network, you are reaching out to, like recruiters on LinkedIn, CTOs on LinkedIn, CEOs on LinkedIn, or you are applying for jobs. So there are so many platforms. LinkedIn obviously being, I think, our favorite. There are jobs posted all the time. You applying for those jobs is a way of you outreaching, right? Something going on is, so that's an outbound channel. Irrespective of the channel, whether it is an inbound channel or an outbound channel, these three things have to be in place. The moment you decide that I want to see what's out there in the market for me, your LinkedIn needs to be proper, your resume needs to be proper, and your portfolio, like, somebody maybe has a website of their own, somebody has a GitHub profile where, everything is out there and it's very open, and it's easy for employers to see their Git commits, or read from their GitHub profile in terms of, okay, how strong is this senior engineer. No matter what, if it's an inbound channel or an outbound channel, these three things have to be proper. Yes, please, Mehboob
Okay.
Alam.
I'm from Bangladesh. I have over 8 year experience in Java. Uh, Sometime in company when we are working, our code can't publish in GitHub. Those are public, and we can't share a screenshot or slide in our profile because of its company policy. We can't show our portfolio in LinkedIn or any public profile, so that we have to hide. That's why we can't share. And many time I apply many companies in Canada, but I never got call from any Canadian organization. Uh, Basically, when I apply, I found their mention, are you from Canada or outside of Canada? Um, is there any filtering option there due to rejection?
So we have a whole bunch on LinkedIn. So I think your point will be covered on the next slides for sure.
Okay.
Ellie, question?
Yes, no, I have something to just to add what Mahmoud, sorry if I say your name wrongly, uh, about the GitHub. What you can do about this that I do on my GitHub profile is you can at least make the contributions that you did, like commits, the number of commits, public, you know? So I also have a lot of private repositories that I do commits every day. But what if you go inside my public profile on GitHub, you see at least the contribution that I did. So the company that is hiring or trying to hire you, you can go there and see my activities in doing the last months and last years. I think this can contribute a little bit.
Okay, I agree, but sometime we have to contribute like GitHub or Bitbucket with creating profile with company email address. So every time we have to create new account, right?
You're right. Yeah, in this way, you're right. But on my case, I use my personal profile. I never had to work with the company's profile. Go ahead.
Yeah, I even when I receive GitHub links, usually when it's open source and the Git commits, I mean everything is public. I mean, of course, there are certain you know projects that people do not want to display, especially when it's for an employer. But there are a lot of other side projects that people take, and it's quite public out there. Okay, should we move on from here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Um, yeah, your LinkedIn, your resume, and your online portfolio needs to be proper, irrespective of how you are, how you plan to find a job, whether through inbound channels or through outbound channels. Now, I came up with this idea thinking it would be nice for people here to see how recruiters find engineers on LinkedIn. I think everybody, all the recruiters or everybody just says, okay, follow my 5-step method, and your LinkedIn profile will be like a 5-star profile. But nobody really tells you how recruiters view your profile or how do they even find your profile. So I would like to show you those filters that we as recruiters see. Maybe that helps you understanding where all your LinkedIn profile should get better. Are you guys ready for it? All right. So
Yeah.
let me open my LinkedIn account. Now I will go to my recruiter license. So I would say 99% of the people who are in the recruitment space have a recruiter license, which means this. So I can do a search. So let's do a search for a senior software engineer. So I put the title here. And I have filters on my left-hand side, which I have to fill up in order to see the right people. Okay, anybody volunteer and give me like a programming language or a framework. Anybody can volunteer.
Python.
Okay.
That's the one I work with.
All right, let's search for Python. But before we do that, let's see here the filters for titles. So for me, when I am on this Recruiter Lite, I can put titles here. So I can put a senior software engineer. I can put principal engineer. I can put staff engineer, full stack, back. If it's Python, maybe I just want to do a backend. So let's do backend actually. Let's put a backend developer. Now it asks me if these titles, if I want to see people who are currently in this title, or was this a current or a past? So I obviously want to see people who are currently in these titles, right? So I will put current here. Now it asks me for candidate location. Let's put, give me a location. Toronto, is it okay? So I put a location here. In location also, it asks me if I want people who are currently in this location, or do I want to see people who are open to relocate or open to relocate only? So somewhere in your LinkedIn profile, it asks you if you want recruiters to see this. So anybody who is looking to relocate, please make sure that this is open. For now, let's just do current. So we are looking for Python developers in Toronto. Now it asks me for skill. Under skills, I will put Python. See how this number is reducing? It is now 2,300. It was, I think, 23 million when I just put senior software engineer, because then, it was showing across the globe. So in skills, I put Python. I can also filter by company name. I can put different companies. Sorry. I can put schools. I can put year of graduation. So I can decide if I, like, it mainly tells me the years of experience. So somebody who graduated between 2000 to 2010 will have 13 years of experience, right? Somebody who graduated in 2010 will, or 23, sorry, what?
Vidi, something important for Brazilians. Don't forget to put your LinkedIn in English, because we are only finding English people that speak English. So for Brazilians, don't forget to put your LinkedIn in English.
Yes, that's a filter also. I'll show you. So yeah, I can put school, I can put year of graduation, I can also put industries. Now, okay, let me put keyword now. So you see, this is 2.3K. Let me also put Python under keywords. Let's see if the number changes. It increased. Now let's see advanced search. Now these are the extra filters they show me. To Louisa's point, profile language. Anybody who's hiring in an English-speaking country, this is the first thing we do. We only want to see people whose LinkedIn profile is in English. So even if you're working for an English-speaking company, but if your LinkedIn profile is not in English, you will be filtered out right away. Because that's the perception we get, that you probably don't, like you don't use English as a language. So we filter those people out right away without giving it a thought. So yeah, and then I can also put company size or job function. I can put seniority here. Now let's do search. These are the people I see. Morasi, can you also give me maybe something on the front end? So Python, you said, which is backend. Is it? Can you like throw at me like one maybe, I don't know, React, Angular, Vue.js, or whatever?
Yeah, React, maybe, yes.
Okay.
I don't work too much with React, more like Python or Django.
Okay. Okay. I mean, let's for this experiment, let's just do this. So I will remove backend from here. So in my skills, I will add React. Now I see even less people. So, the other people got filtered because they did not have React written on their profile somewhere. So this was skills. Let's also go to keywords. So I am now putting Python and React. $753 people. You see how the number changes? Okay, now let's look at these profiles. We can just review a couple. So this is what I see. I see the name. I see this title, I think, which is important. One should always say under their name in terms of what they are, back end, front end, technical architect, or whatever that is. Then I see a summary. So this guy says senior software developer with 10 years of software development experience in banking, telecom, insurance, blah, 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 blah. Java, Python, Go, Swift, Kotlin, React Native. Profile to me looks good. The summary is complete. The summary is giving me a lot of information on the tech stack this guy works on. Past 9 months, he's been working with TELUS. 1 year, 4 months, worked with another company. 1 year with a US company.
I like his summary.
Huh?
I like his summary. I think that is simple, but with important information for us.
Yeah.
The summary.
Yeah, graduated in 2011, 2016. If I am looking for somebody with Python and React experience, I would want to reach out to this guy. When do you think I would not want to reach out to this guy? I'll tell you when. If, like Louisa said, the summary is good. If the summary's English was not good, if the English had problems in it, even if he had worked so many years, but the English was not right, I would be like, no, not reaching out to him. You see how the mind works? And this is how we work. Like, this is what happens. If the English is not proper, if the picture is not proper, there are some people who put a selfie and it is so obvious it's a selfie. Like it looks very casual. Or sometimes they have a family picture on their on their LinkedIn profile. Like literally a family picture. And I'm like, this is a professional platform. Like showcase yourself. Like, why do you want to show your family, right? Not Facebook. All right, I have Sandra wanting to say something. Sandra, we can't hear you. You're
Hello?
mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no.
Hi, yes. I'm based in London in the United Kingdom, and I just had a question on job titles. So they seem to vary amongst the industry and also amongst job markets in different countries. So currently my job title is a web engineer, which can be referred to as a front-end developer as well. As I'm seeking jobs in North America, is it advised that I change the title to something a bit more suited to the market?
So I will not answer this directly. I will show you what the titles are when I am on the Recruiter Lite platform. Let's see if web engineer is there or not. If it's not there, then I would suggest make it front-end engineer or make it front-end developer. If we see web engineer there, I think it should be okay to keep web engineer. But honestly, I doubt if it will be there.
Okay.
So we'll check on the Recruiter Lite. I'll give me 2 minutes before we finish this. This profile. So I'll come back to that one.
Okay.
So you guys get my point. I mean, the profile looks great. The picture matters. Your full name matters. The title matters. Your summary matters a lot. The English has to be proper, your experience, and then the tech stack too, right? The tech stack here is very prim and proper and to the point. Every organization this person worked for, the skills are mentioned. This is again very important. Mention your skills. These skills are coming from here. Let me show you. These skills are coming from here. So if you don't put skills there, and if I put skills here, I will not be able to find you. And also keywords. In your entire LinkedIn profile, the keywords that you want people to find, put it out there. Put it in the summary, put it in the explanation when you're putting your job responsibilities. Put the skills, put the keywords, put the information out there. Now let's go back to Sandra's question. Let's see if we have web engineer title here. So let's type web. Okay, so we do have web engineer. Now let's see what all it includes. So this includes two. This includes web engineer and senior web engineer. Okay. So Sandra, this looks fine. But if you've been having trouble, finding relevant opportunities, or if people are not reaching out to you, probably this is a more uncommon title. Maybe change it to something that's more front end, because that's what in the North American context we use more often.
Okay, thank you. That's good to know. I can see there's only 6 results for this one versus the thousands with front-end developer. So that's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, as somebody have also mentioned here, 6 results only, maybe not very widely used. Maybe more used in the UK, not so much in the US or Canada. Maybe, no idea.
Vicky, I do have a question that is sort of related to profile. I'm not sure if you want to talk about now during this call or later on, but I would like just to ask the question. What I noticed about the jobs in Canada that are offered in Canada is that every time I go and apply for a job, one of the questions, of course, is related to your immigration status, right? So do you need assistance to immigrate? Do you need assistance for a work permit, whatever the question be? And I feel that by the time you check the yes, you are already filtered out for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
This is where I see that happening all the time. I mean, I have had some work, some of the offers coming from Europe, from some other places, which I could not accept at that point, which I had no problems with it. But in this case, it looks like that's what it happens all the time. So okay. I would like to see if that's something that somehow it's filtered out by this process, or if there's some sort of bots that will not even let you see it or profile there.
You remember the location? Where was it? Location. So I can see people who are open to relocate only. So what I suggest, Morasi, see, okay, let me show you. So if I put Toronto here, and if I only do open to relocate, I only see people who want to move to Toronto. Now, these people could be already in Canada in a different city, or maybe outside Canada, who have shown they want to move to Toronto. We have one guy from Burlington. We have one person from India who said she wants to move to Toronto. We have somebody from Vancouver who said this, another person from India, another person from the same province. Yeah. So look up your LinkedIn and see where this filter is, where you can reflect that you want to move to Toronto. And the other thing I would say, let me show you. Under location, you can also put Canada as your location. And under your summary section, you can say that, I am looking to relocate, or I'm looking for work sponsorship. So when a person like me looks at your LinkedIn, before I approach you, I already know that you want sponsorship. That can be done.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Bernardo?
And just touching on what Moraci said is, I think what he's trying to say is whenever he creates an application, right, he goes in and applies for a specific job on the company's website. So whenever you get to those questions, like, are you in Canada? Do you have a work permit, right? Do you require sponsorship? I can guarantee you that some of those questions automatically take you out of the process, right? The same goes with salary range. If the salary range is above whatever they're expecting to pay, that's it. You're done, right? At the same point. So
Yeah.
it's always like, I think the best way to approaching, if you're going to apply for companies like this, is, well, get to know someone, do a connection on LinkedIn, reach out to someone before you apply. Because I feel like just apply directly, it's really hard. Without knowing anyone in the company to get a job, it's really, really hard. Especially if you're looking to relocate, right? Then.
Great point, Bernardo. Which is why referrals and networking matter so much, right? There are so many people who are ready to help, but they will not help until you ask for help. So reach out to people.
That
It's
makes
just
sense.
us
Yeah.
who are on LinkedIn, like everybody's like us. So yeah, reach out to them. Connect with people on LinkedIn. I think Louisa wants to say something.
Yeah, actually, 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. She is HR manager in a Canadian company, and she was telling me that this is so important, Bernardo, that if you really want to work in a company, it's nice to connect with people on LinkedIn, present yourself, and once they at least know you are a person, you exist, okay, you can get into the process. So it's really important to connect with people.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if this is the right time to probably say it, but we are also coming with a job board that will have remote as well as opportunities that provide LMIA or provide sponsorship. So we are right now working on creating a job board that will only and only cater to a segment of market that is either looking to relocate to Canada by finding these companies. So you directly apply with that company through that job board, and also remote opportunities. So we are right now in the process of making that job board. So I think this is a big pain point for a lot of people who want to move. So we came up with the idea that if we put this information out there for everybody, so they can directly apply for these opportunities. So probably that will help. But then the Bernardo suggestion and Louisa suggestion, I think they're both great. Reach out to people. People are there to help. Just reach out. All
Don't
right.
be afraid.
Yes. Worst case situation, they will not respond. Like, that's the worst that can happen. They will not respond. Right? That's the worst. All righty. Anybody, any question on these filters that recruiters use or anything at all, or should we move on from here? Any hand raises? All right, Melanie.
Yeah, hi, Vidhi. Melanie here. First of all, thank you for hosting this wonderful meeting. My question is more about, so I'm just putting my situation here. So I have worked as a project manager for a couple of years, probably around 4 years. And then I transitioned to a consultant job. So now I want to go back to a project manager role. So if I have to put my title, it'll definitely be a consultant, right? So is there any way that I can change my title in a way that reflects project management experience?
Well, you should say project manager here. Doesn't matter if you were a consultant. You can also do project management as a consultant.
Okay. So even if my current role is, sorry, so even if my current role is as a consultant, I can put it as a project manager with it?
Well, as a consultant, if you're doing project management, I won't mind seeing your profile that says you're a project manager or you are in project management. Because consultant can have different meanings, right? I mean, you can be consulting on, like, I don't know, thousands of things. So if you are consulting on project management.
No, I'm not consulting on project management. So my initial 4 years, I was working as a project manager. And then right now, since a couple of months, I've been working as a technical consultant. it's a different, switch.
Right.
So,
I would still say put both then, put
okay.
project manager / consultant. Let
Okay.
people see you, because I think majority of the years you said you did project management as a project manager.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you can put both here, like under your name. Let me see my profile. Let me see how. So here where it says, okay, let me open my profile. Like where it says helping tech talent succeed,
Mm-hmm.
you can edit headline. You can,
Okay.
like whatever, you can just add anything here. So you can write project manager, you can write consultant.
All right. Makes sense. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No problem at all. All righty. Any other questions? No? Should we move on then? All righty. Oh, thanks, Elio. Okie dokie. So that's what we found out. Now let's look at a couple of resumes. We'll go by quickly on resumes. This is a good layout of a resume, the one that you see here, right? Like the name is quite visible. Then the title here, then all the contact information, like everything is segregated in a nice way. The space has been nicely optimized. There is no space wastage that I see here. The skills have been mentioned properly. There's a summary here and the work experience. Let's look at resumes here.
It is something important to say. Some people still ask, "Oh, do we really need a resume?" Yes, we need, because as you was telling me those days, resume is important to show all your experiences, and LinkedIn is important to show your personality and, of course, experience. So it's important to have both. Companies still look into the resume and all the details that you've been passed for.
All right, Josias, no problem at all. We'll send you the recording. Yeah, so okay, let's do a quick review of this resume. Obviously, we hit the name and the number because that's personal information to somebody. Yeah, so you put your name. Anybody wants to tell me what's missing here in the header? Like what else should have been here? Like you see the name, the number, the address, and the email address. Anything you see missing?
Your LinkedIn profile?
100%. I would also say GitHub. If somebody's active on GitHub, like put the link there. Like be proud of it. Like put it out there, right? And LinkedIn, like so very important. LinkedIn shows your personality. There is so much that a resume can't tell, which your LinkedIn tells. Please put it out there. The good part, there is this summary. The technical skills are right on top of the resume. I love when technical skills are in the beginning of the resume, because when I am spending 10 seconds on a resume, I'm looking for the right information. And if I get it in the very beginning, I like it and I know, okay, this resume is either a reject or goes to the next round. So it's nice if you put all the languages, the databases, the platforms, everything that you have expertise on out here. Work experience, nicely mentioned. I love how this person has also mentioned the tech stack they work on in this particular job. That is also very important. Good resume overall. One little thing that I would like to add for people who are working with either small companies or companies that are I would say Canadian maybe, or non-US, if they're not popular, add a line explaining what this company does. So if you're working for a local Brazilian company, you're in Peru working for a small company, you're applying with a North American company. Now, these guys who are looking at your resume right now do not have any idea where you work, what you do. In order to explain that, please put a line explaining what this company does. Leading fintech company, like the EdTech Series A EdTech startup, or this, like something about the company that gives information to the viewer of the resume, right? Okay, let's move on to the second resume. Let's see if we have anything else here. This is amazing. I love when people do this. So you put your name and then you put your title, similar to how we did on LinkedIn too, right? Remember on LinkedIn, under the name, we had the title. Similarly, put it on the resume as well, because the moment I see it, I know, and I have an Android position and I'm looking at this resume, I want to read the rest of the resume because now this has caught my eye. Again, LinkedIn is missing. Very important to add LinkedIn here, please. Profile, work experience. This person has put their, you can download from Play Store, the Android application they worked on. Obviously amazing. Everything is in bullet points. That's amazing. Avoid paragraphs. Let your resume be either 1 page or 2 pages. Maximum 3 if you really cannot cut it short. Maximum 3. That also is a stretch. I would say 2 is the max. Do not create 5-page booklet. Do not create a 10-page essay. Nobody's reading that. Nobody will ever read it. So keep it short, keep it crisp, and keep it in a nice format so that it's legible, right? Like people can read it properly. Any questions here before we move on from resumes? No questions? Cool. Let's move on. Okay. So where did the outreach? Alrighty. So we talked about resumes. We talked about LinkedIn. Now let's talk about outreach, which is an outbound channel. I think we've touched a little already, but outreach would exactly mean what Bernardo said to Morasi. That find somebody in that company, reach out to them. Networking, online, offline, very important. Your network will help you. 95% of the times will be ready to help you. There are a lot of events that happen. I'm not sure how the market is for events in other countries, but now in Canada, it's there are a lot of events happening. I'm sure in the US more events are happening. Not sure how the Brazilian market or other countries are in terms of COVID, but when I see Louisa traveling here and there, I'm sure it's pretty okay, and there are a lot of events probably happening out there. So go attend those events, right? You never know who you meet might end up being somewhere where you also want to be, or your past colleagues, people you worked with. Connect with them, send them a message, connect with them on LinkedIn. Network. That helps. Network does help. I know people who've never applied for a job. It was only through their network that they ever found a job. So there are people like that as well. Referrals, again, if you have a strong network, people will want to refer you. You have, there are so many people moving to Canada. There are so many people working for North American companies. If they can refer you, if they have worked with you in the past and they know you're strong, people will refer you. And in most of the companies, there is a referral bonus as well. So employees get referral bonus if they refer somebody. So there is no way why someone will not refer you if they know you are good, right? So yeah, don't hesitate. Ask for referrals. But I think to that point, I will also say, just don't randomly message people and say, hey, can you refer me? That doesn't work. And people do that. People message, hey, can you refer me for this job? I'm like, I don't even know you. How can I refer you? So in order to even get a reference, ask for them to meet with you over a coffee chat, which means, you just meet over Zoom, meet over Google Meet. Like, hey, it would be great if you can spend like 15 minutes, guide me, help me. I saw this opportunity in your organization. Would be great to learn from you, what your experience has been. People love to share their experiences. And if you end up connecting with this person in those 15 minutes, they might even refer you, which they will, because they are also getting a bonus for that. Right? But strangers do not like to refer, especially in the North American setting. They don't. They're like, I don't even know you. How can I refer you? And then they're like, oh, this person is not a cultural fit. So everything is so connected with the other thing. Yeah. Again, emails. You can email people. You can LinkedIn message them. You can in-mail them. Follow up, very important, very, very important. Sometimes you would write the most beautiful message to somebody expecting a reply in 10 seconds, and you probably even know that they've read the message, but they didn't respond, and you're sitting heartbroken. Please follow up. People are not trying to ignore you, they are just busy. Follow up, send a follow-up note saying, hey, I know you've been busy, but would be great if you can let me know. It's like blah, blah, blah. People do that. Mind. Yes, Sandra.
Hi, sorry. Sorry if you're going to get to this, but I just wanted to know, you haven't mentioned anything about cover letters. Is that something that's required during the application process or not really?
I personally find them very old school. We do not have clients that use cover letters, not even one. But I know there are industries that ask for cover letters. If you're applying for a banking position, they will ask for a cover letter. I know for sure. But most companies do not ask for a cover letter. Do you want to highlight on the types of industries that you're applying for?
So I currently work in the e-commerce industry, but I've been applying for various roles. Part of the application process, I have seen cover letters, but it doesn't appear to be mandatory. So I haven't been creating them for that very reason. But it's good to hear that it's not a required part of the process.
Well, if it's not mandatory on their job application, they are definitely not spending any second reading it. I think sometimes people just create these long, job applications, and they want candidates to spend half of their life finishing that application. I mean, it's crazy. But then but there are some banking I know banking asks for cover letters. I know probably insurance companies ask for it too. Maybe they have so many, so many other things that they have to cater to. Like some people ask me certifications. Like there are so many companies, tech companies especially, that we work with, they don't ask for certifications. You just have to prove what you're saying you can do. But then again, companies in the banking sector will ask for, this certification and that certification. I guess probably it's just the nature of the business that they want all these certifications and nothing more. And probably cover letter is one of them as well. But no, I mean, if you are not writing cover letters, feel free to continue doing that. I don't think anybody reads those 3 paragraphs. Any other question, people? No? This is just an example we put together. So this is mainly for, if you found a position online. So imagine there are like 200 applicants, right? In order to shine from the other 199, reach out to the person who posted that job. Or reach out to the person there. Okay, I'll let everybody read first. Yeah, everybody read. So, I mean, if you're reaching out to, a tech recruiter or somebody in the HR space, or somebody who posted a job. All right, Ali, thank you. They would love to, sorry, I'm getting distracted. They would love to connect with you, especially when you are a senior engineer and they are the HR space. They would love to connect with you. I think even if you send a connection request without a message, 99% of the times they will accept your connection request. And once you've connected with them, the message that you send will either make it or break it. So, which is why showing the impact of the work that you've done is very important. Right? So in this message also here, we are talking about the web application that was built. We are talking about how the impact was. So try and do that. Try and do that in the messages that you send, because that does change how the other person in a different part of the world perceives you. It's a perception game at the end of the day. It is all a perception game, right? And how you reach out to somebody, what message you send, what email you send, how you write that email, that is how you will be perceived. Yes, Malini.
Yeah, with the one question here. So let's say I go to any company's career portal and apply for a job. So in many of the job descriptions, it'll not be very clear as to which team the hiring is being held for. So if I am to connect with anybody from the company, let's say it's from RBC. If I am to connect with anybody working in RBC, if I just go to LinkedIn, there'll be 100 other employees working for RBC, right? So how do I really narrow down my search and then connect to one person who could potentially help me over there?
Well, they all know what roles are open. Mm-hmm. So if you connect with maybe an HR VP at RBC, they will know what all other roles are open, and they can always refer you to another HR VP whose team is hiring.
Okay, so it's always best to connect with an HR agent, someone from, like, let's say if I'm applying for a business analyst role, should I connect with a business analyst working in RBC, or should I connect with an HR in RBC?
I would say, why not connect with both? Yeah, I mean, why not reach out to the HR people as well, who definitely know the open roles, and then you can also reach out to other people in the network. Deep has a message here. Do you wanna come and then share your thoughts?
Yeah. Hey, hi, Malini. So yeah, I think I'm also co-founder with Vidhi on Canada Mentors. Just thought of sharing some views here. So whenever doing an outreach, I think it is always, in a bigger organization, it is always better to connect with multiple people. You obviously have to scan through the company and see who are the potential hiring managers in a similar team, or could be in the HR team, the talent acquisition side of things, or could be working in a similar role for the role that you're actually looking to apply. What that does is two things. A, it increases your chances of getting connected to someone in the organization. B, it also helps you understand more about the organizational layout and the team hierarchies that exist. And anyone that you end up connecting with, I'm pretty sure if you point them to the right job description or the role that you're interested in, they will be able to figure you out or point you in the direction of the hiring manager or the right person to talk to. They can even connect you to the right person in the same team who could be of help. So that's generally, it's very difficult, especially in enterprise companies like RBC you mentioned, to pinpoint on the exact person who might be hiring. But always good to look for a pool of people that you would love to connect with for that particular role in mind.
True. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks, Deep.
Anytime.
All righty. Okay, the interview process. In general, with companies here in Canada, in US, it is usually a 3-step or a 4-step interview process. Why I say 4-step is sometimes the technical interview, the coding and the system design are like 2 steps, 1 step each, so 1 hour, 1 hour. And sometimes the companies just do like a 1 hour half, and they include the coding and system design in one. The interview process always begins with an initial screen. If it's a smaller company, maybe one of the founding team members does like a 30-minute chat with you. Maybe if it's a size large company, they have an HR team or they have a recruitment team. Maybe somebody from the HR team spends like 15 minutes with you to do the initial screen. It is important to know how much information to give them. If it is a 15-minute HR screen, you obviously do not want to get into a lot of technicalities about what you do. You want to just give them high-level information so that they put you to the next round. So it is important to know which person will understand how much. Sometimes a lot of engineers give a lot of in-depth technical knowledge to the HRs who do not understand a bit of it, right? Because their job is to screen, do the initial screening, just make sure that this person has worked previously in a similar job, has knowledge of whatever tech stack is required, and move this person to the second round, right? Which is why practice for the interviews is important. You need to know how much to share with who. And also, when confused, ask the other person, okay, would you like me to expand on this? All right, I have done that. Would you like me to elaborate on this, or are we good? When you're confused, ask the person that you're talking to. Most times you will get an answer. So it starts with an initial screen, and then most times it goes to a technical interview, which is again coding and system design. Again, right, for coding, there are a lot of data structure, algo kind of questions that you have to prepare, which is why, again, preparation is very important. A lot of senior engineers don't do that obviously anymore. They did that back in the university days, college days. So that is not something you even practice on a day-to-day basis, which is, again, knowing what platforms to practice on is important. Practicing is important. Practice with a friend, get into a mock interview session. Practice with a friend. Find somebody who can question you like you would be questioned in an interview, right? Then system design as well. Practice is what will make it or break it. If all of that goes well, you will land up in a culture fit interview or a behavioral interview. You are a rock star you're a rock star engineer, but then if you do not clear their behavioral interview, it is no offer is coming. People want to work with people who they can really work with, people who are collaborative, people who are friendly, easy to work with. They smile, like most times we're just working remotely. I think 95% of the jobs are all remote, especially for software engineers, probably even 99%. I don't know if it's 100%. But which is also the reason why it is very important to be friendly in the meetings, be friendly in the interviews. It is a conversation at the end of the day. It is not an interrogation, right? So,
flexibility also really is super important.
Sorry?
Flexibility, I think, is super important also in the soft skills.
Very, very important, right? So this is what the employers are looking for. They're looking for collaboration, soft skills, flexibility, culture fit, team fit. Can this person really work with my team? Can I work with this person? When I am interviewing people, in my head, I'm always thinking, can I work with this person? And if my answer in my head is no, I don't put them in the second round, or I do not end up presenting them to a client. Because my mind goes to a place where if I cannot work with this person, how can others do, right? So yeah, people are always looking for friendly personalities, people they can easily work with. These are some of the tools, some of the platforms that we recommend you can practice on. LeetCode obviously is the most common one. HackerRank and CoderPad are the ones that are most commonly used for technical assessments, for coding interviews, for system design interview. HackerRank and CoderPad, I would say, are the number one platforms that companies in North America use. So please take a note of it. And if you haven't practiced on those platforms yet, please do. If the interviews go well, obviously you will end up the salary negotiation phase. Levels.fyi, Glassdoor, Indeed, and I'm sure there are a lot of other platforms that tell you what the range should be or what they give you the industry standards. It is important you know what the industry standard is. It is important to do your research. It is important to not just say a number when asked. Okay, or example, okay, Louisa, let's do a mock. All right, so in the very first conversation, all right, but take care. In the very first conversation, if I say, hey, Louisa, so what kind of salary are you expecting? And if Louisa gives me a number, I'll be like, but I could pay more. And in the end, if I'm making an offer, I'm like, oh, she asked for this much. So even if I can pay more, I should only give what she asked for. Right? So it is important that you ask for what the range is. So if I ask, hey Morasi, so what is the salary expectation? So instead of just saying, hey Vidhi, I'm looking for 100,000, don't do that. Instead, ask me, okay Vidhi, so what is the range for this position? And maybe I tell you, oh, the range is 130 to 150. So then your 100K doesn't make any sense, right? So it is, and this one is, this is definitely, I feel, a tip that when asked for a salary range, just don't throw a number. Ask what their range is. You will get an answer most of the times. And if you don't, you can always let them know that, okay, let me do my research and I'll come back to you if you haven't done your research as yet. Alrighty. So yeah, there are platforms where you can find salaries. Again, during the interview process, important to focus on your strengths and put your strengths forward, right? If you've done mentoring before, if you've helped others, important to say it out loud during the interview process. Give examples, quote examples of how you mentored junior developers, how you helped someone else who was in trouble, how you did code pairing exercises with others, how you review their code. So things like those, like give examples. People like examples here. Again, consider all components of the compensation package. Some people care more about base salary. Some people care more about equity. Some people care about something else. So see what you care about. And I think you can also negotiate basis that. Some people do not really want a higher equity. They want a higher base. So negotiate on that front. Okay, if I can get if you can increase the base but lower the equity, how does that sound? So know how to negotiate. Learn learn how to negotiate. There are different ways you can negotiate on. These are some of the salary ranges that we see in the market here, and this is in Canadian dollar. For a senior engineer, usually it is 130 to 160K. For a staff level, 160, 180, principal level, 180 above. These are the ranges, the usual ranges that we see here. Questions?
Apologize, really just a quick question there. Is that nationwide or it's more Toronto based?
I would say nationwide. I think after COVID, things changed a lot. Somebody in Vancouver, not maybe Vancouver, somebody in Alberta whose cost of living is low can still work for a Toronto company, or the other way around. So I would say this is nationwide now. COVID has really changed things there. So I would say this is a common nationwide salary.
Thank you.
Any questions? I know we are over time. No questions? Louisa, do you have anything else to, maybe I missed out on anything?
No, not now.
All righty. No questions? Do we have, so I know Bernardo left, but I worked with Bernardo previously. Do we have anybody else here? Because I cannot see all the faces. Do we have anybody else here who I worked with in the past? Nobody?
Not from my side.
Yeah, okay. All righty. Okay, so with that, I think I'll also let you know that we are starting a cohort-based learning program. This is the link. Let me actually show you. And I will also put this link here so that you can leave feedback. So please leave feedback. If you scroll down, you can leave feedback here. We would love to get feedback. Any topic that you think would be of benefit to you, please go here and leave that. The cohort-based learning program that we are starting, you can, if you're interested in participating, you can add your email address here so you can join the wait list. This is some of more information if you're interested in reading about it. Obviously, whatever I think we covered in 1 hour would be covered over a period of few weeks, probably 4 weeks. So we'll really go in depth of each topic and really help you in every way possible. And then, like I had mentioned before, we are also working on a job board, which will have positions for software engineers looking for remote opportunities with North American companies, which will include both Canada and the US. And this will also contain opportunities for the LMIA approved companies, or we can also show you the companies who have an LMIA and ready to sponsor. So we'll have a job board that will be only targeted to outside North American candidates, especially the ones who are in a similar time zone, and then Latin America is the place we look at. So yeah, please, if you're interested, join the community.